So the way it works is you assemble a little bit, and when you get to that page that it says, and when it tells you to enter a program, online programming, that's where you get me to check the construction. And you need to stop. I don't do two things at once, so you don't do 4 or 5 things and then bring it up here and want me to sign them off. What I want to do is what I'm doing is I'm verifying the robot is built correctly. So what happens is you come over here and you want me to sign off 2 things, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you tear the robot back down to where you should have been, right? You understand? One of the main things that employers want to know is about an employee is, do they follow instructions? If you don't follow instructions, guys, you're not going to keep a job very long, right? You understand that? So even though you may put that robot together exactly right, and you want to get through first, which makes no difference in this class, I want y'all to follow instructions. So this is the programming language for the NXT robot. It's called the NXT-G programming language. And when you first load it in, and we talked a little bit about this, when you first load it in, this is the home screen. And this is where you type in the name of the program you're trying to create. Right now, by default, it's going to call Untitled 1. So I don't want to see any programs called Untitled 1 because it's going to tell you basically what you... So you need to come up with a name, right? You understand that? This shows you the last program that you had loaded. Okay, down here at the bottom. So if I wanted to create a program, I would come up here and give it a title. Now, right now, you're not saving it. All you're doing is giving a title while you create it. And then I type in go, and then it brings up the programming screen for the NXT robot. Now, what you want to make sure, this is where I had mine at last. So what we want to do is go to what they call the basic palette. So this is the basic palette, and this is the only thing that we will be using in this class. So this is the way we program, and y'all have already looked at this. So what do? We come over here and select a block. So this is our motor block, right? You understand? And what does our motor block do for us? And as soon as you bring it down, it brings up this unit down here at the bottom where you make selections on what you want to do with that block. Are we okay? Everybody okay? So what can we do with our motors? We can specify which motors we want to run. We can specify what direction we want to run in them, or we can make them stop. So normally what they do when they run and you turn them off, what are they going to do? They're going to coast, just like any motor. Anything that's in motion wants to do what? Stay in motion. So if you want to come to an exact spot and you want to stop it, then you need to come in and put this block, right? Y'all understand that? Yes or no? Right here. This is the direction. Now this is basic steering right here. We'll have a little more thing. So, by the way, this is relative to the way the motors are mounted too. So it depends on what robot you built. Now the robot we're building, the motors are mounted correctly. So it means if you want your robot to go forward, you'll put forward. If you want it to go backwards, you'll tell them to run backwards. If you want them to turn slightly to the right, you'll come over here and just grab this slide bar right here and slide it to the right. If you want them to turn left, then you slide it to the left. And this is so the controller will automatically adjust the speed of the 2 motors to cause it to turn. You cannot do a 90-degree turn doing it this way. So how would you do a 90? So here the motors would always run. So how would you do a 90-degree turn? Well, what you would do is you would run both motors. One of them you'd stop, the other one you would run. Right? You understand that? So if I wanted to make a 90-degree turn to the right, I don't know where the C motor is at, then I would come over here and run the C motor. And I wouldn't run the B motor. And then that would make it right. And then You'd pivot on that wheel. Now it's up to you to figure out how far you need to run. So right now we got options. So this is closed loop down here. So right now it says we're going to run closed loop. So it means I'm going to run that C motor for what? One rotation, which would be 360 degrees. Well, 360 degrees might swing it all the way around. So what we'd do is we'd come over here and instead of using rotation, we'd go to degrees. Now you can make that motor turn for 90 degrees or 30 degrees or whatever y'all want it to run, right? You understand that? Then we have two open loop options. We got one where it's going to run it for a certain amount of seconds. That's open loop. It's just going to turn. So this is kind of like when you program the Gray robot. That's open loop. And the way it remembered how much time you wanted to run the motor, and it didn't remember the actual position of the motor. And then we got unlimited. Unlimited, we're going to use this a lot. So unlimited, what we can do is we can make them run until something happens. So I could come over here and make run the motor unlimited, make it run forward, make it run. So I'm only let's run B motor. Let's run both of them. And then I can say, okay, I'm going to come down here to one of my sensors. And I'm going to come up here and put the ultrasonics. And now it's going to run forward until it sees something, right? It's not understanding. So we use this a lot, where we run it until it picks up a sensor. Does that make sense? Everybody okay? So this will be something that you'll do when we work on the maze program. So every program, when we compete our robot, every program that you're going to develop is going to depend on a sensor. So here's our sensors. You're not going to do this. This is for continuous path, so we're not going to use that one. We're not going to do any continuous path programming in here. So we're not going to use this block right here. By the way, to delete the block, all you do is what? You just click on it and highlight it and then hit the delete key. All there is to delete. This is our sound. If you want the robot to say something, you can come up here and make it say something. These are the terms that's built into the robot. So you could make it play a sound file, but we're not going to do that. So you could actually record something and play a file. I think it's a Windows Media file that you have to have. I'm not sure. We've never used that. So all our terms, if you want to make the robot say something, it's up to you. And what it'll do is it'll play that on your computer so you can actually hear basically what it says. This is display. If you want to make it display something, you can come up here and use this block. These are not required by any of our programs, right? This is just stuff you might want to add. And these are the different faces and things that you could display.
Where?
Right here.
I mean, like, where would it display?
It's going to display on the display. It's going to pop up on the little display. So there's different things you could do. And not only can you do that, it can only do one image at a time, by the way, but you can also come in and set where you want to put it, X, Y. But this is you. There's no programs that you have to write. So mine, when I'm following the line, I think if you watch my robot, it's going to be switching from, not that one. You got two where it looks the opposite directions. I didn't see them. So these are all the images built in there. That you don't have to use that one. But you're going to have to use this one. So the one that shows the hourglass, this is where all your sensors are located. So this would be a timer, which we don't use in this class. This is going to be your touch sensor. This is going to be your light sensor. This is your sound sensor. This is your ultrasonic sensor. So this is where I know you're not the only one. Ultrasonic. So this is our distance sensor here. So if I wanted to make it, if I wanted to make my robot just free roam, Free roam. What's free roam? Yeah, it just rolls around. So the one I've got is a lot more complicated, but we can make it free roam. And of course, the best sensor to use is the ultrasonic sensor because your light sensor depends on reflective light. So we got some escape robots that we build, and it depends on ultraviolet light. I'm sorry, infrared light. And the problem is it'll run right into these desks because the sensitivity is not set so it can see black. But ultrasonics is pretty much will see most things. So what I would do is I would come over here and I just want it to free roam. So what do you think we would start off doing? We'd start off with the motor block, right? Just send it on its way. Usually we just go straight. And then I would come over here and I would say, okay, I want it to pick up the ultrasonic sensor. So I'd come up here and pick up the ultrasonic sensor. And then, okay, it picks something. So it's been running straight. It finds something. What do you want it to do? You want it to back up, right? You understand? So I'd come over here and I'd put another motor block right here. And then what would I do? Well, I would come up here and I would say, okay, instead of running the motor forward, I'll run it what? Yeah, change the direction, and then I'd make, instead of going straight back, I would come over here and make it curve a little bit. And then I would say, okay, how far do I want it to come back? Now the problem is it's going to do this once and then it's going to stop because it runs out of the rail, right? Y'all understand that? Okay. Is everybody paying attention to me?
On the bottom there, on the arrows, the right and left, I guess if it's all the way to the right or left, that's just the right, but it looks as if it might be going around in the 360.
No,
that's not it.
No, I don't think.
It goes right or left.
We'll do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Are we okay? Yeah. Okay, so what's the problem? So what happens now, it would start running. As soon as I ran the program, it would start running. It would pick up something. It would back up and turn, and then what would it do? Well, no, we're only backing it up from one rotation. So what you do on this backup, you don't want it to keep spinning around. You don't want to run that one unlimited. You're going to either run it for a certain amount of time or a certain number of degrees or a certain number of rotations, right? Well, what's going to happen is when it gets to this end of the rail, what's it going to do? It's going to stop. So what do we need to do? We need to make it loop. Huh? Yeah. So we're going to loop. So this is the way we do the loop, and this is the way a true loop goes. So this is our looping instructions right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and just put everything inside the loop. It'll loop forever. Just do that one. So everything that you want to be included, you have to have those blocks within that loop. Yeah, all you have to do is once. You can either do one of two things. If you know you're going to loop, you can go ahead and put the loop there, right? You understand that? And then just build it inside there. So notice. So this is where it's going to be placed at. You'll see the little gray right there. So notice my gray's inside the loop. Okay. Then I'm going to come over here and say, okay, we're going to look for the ultrasonic sensor. See the little white gray, so if I see the little light gray box that pops up there? So if I let it go right now, it would go right there. But you can always come in and just click on it again and then drag it to where you want it to go. So there's going to put it in there. And then what did we say we was going to do next? We was going to back up. So I'm going to come up here and get my, see that? And then what am I going to do? So I'm running these both forward. I'm going to run these unlimited because we're going to want these motors to run. We want these motors to run until it sees something, right? Once it sees something on the ultrasonic sensor, then we're going to say, okay, what do we want to do here? What do we want to do? We want to back it up, and then we want to turn it. It's up to you which direction you want to turn. So this is all there is to basic pre-roll.
When you highlight the ultrasonic, there's a distance
Yes.
option there.
Yeah, that's one thing we should have set up. So where do we want to turn? Thank you. We don't want 50 centimeters, right? What we might want to do is we might come in, maybe put it at maybe 10 or 12. Are we okay? So that's a good point. So right now it'd be turning all the time because 50 centimeters is a long distance, right?
What's the other little symbol there?
Which one?
To the left as well. That little box with the, if you click it, it's like a check or something.
No, what is this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Y'all know what that symbol is? So what's this symbol, guys?
That's a greater than.
Yeah, greater than, less than. So here it's saying that 12, it's got to be, so this is saying it's got to be, so the 12 has to be greater than this. So what it's saying is that it should turn if it gets, that makes sense? So that, yeah. So here we got two. We got the greater than and less than. So over here it means this side would be greater. So our distance would be greater than 12. Right? And here the distance would be less than 12. No, it don't record. Well, not really. You could record if you look at the sound. You have this little dot right there that says what? What does that say? File. So you could record a sound file. Yeah, I don't know if it's WAV or it's a mega file, but it would be a standard. We would have to look that up. I said we never use that. So yeah, you could record it and then use that WAV file or whatever. Like I said, I don't know if it's a WAV file or a Windows Media file. So here we're saying, okay, if the distance is less than 12, then what we're going to do, we're going to back up, and I've got mine for one rotation. And of course, what you'd have to do here is you just have to look at it and see how far you want it to back up. Okay. I was looking for my USB cable up here. I don't want to put it in mine because mine's, I've got programs in there already. That I'm going to use. So what do we do? How do we download it? It's not a. Delete one, you just come up here and click on it, and it turns blue. So whichever one you want to delete, see it gets the blue outline around here. And then just hit the delete key on your keyboard. Just hit the delete key on your keyboard.
No joke, my homework is out the window. You know that paper? I literally watched it yesterday. It goes. I was like,
well, you could have printed you off a new one.
I have to sleep up because I'm worried about them. Yeah. 2 more classes after this thing. If I fail this class, I'm not going to get my degree. Yeah.
I
It
like
was my fault. It was my
Yeah, I
fault.
think say I,
It was my fault. It's not your fault. It's my fault.
guys, I don't know, my thing is spread out too far.
I can't. I got to fuck this down. Pop back to like a senior year in high school, college.
It's common.
Senior year in high school, I could do this and still pass and not have to worry about anything.
I don't know what's going on with my program. Y'all see what I'm missing over here?
You don't have that, when you drop the program
Yeah, where I actually can save it.
down with that, it's down, but I look like we have that.
Okay. I just went to, so you see, it was cutting me off, and it wouldn't let me expand it. And this is still not going to be recorded, and it won't let me expand that either. So let me go ahead and